All right, let's do something. Let's actually not start with the stick. We will just do a basic, generic Kung Fu salute. Hello. And let's do a little bit of breathing to start. So grip your feet into the ground, relax your tailbone, and as if you're sitting back, just to your reach about your knees, and then breathing, just pressing past the head. And then the same. So inhaling, relax your tailbone. We're not making a very large movement. This is a very simple movement, just to about here. So the movement's very simple. We don't have to use a lot of external force. So what I want you to feel internally, and you can practice this with your chi, with your energy, with your mind, is raising the energy through the body. So as we're breathing, grip the ground to keep yourself rooted, and lifting the inside, bringing the energy all the way up to the head top and to the hands, and then letting everything internally and externally relax, and then breathing, grip. You can go at your own pace. You can go faster or slower. But imagine the feeling like a balloon. When you inflate a balloon, if you don't use a machine or some type of gas, then you don't want to blow energy into the air, into the balloon, and have it lose the air. So in the same way, when you reach the top, when you're inflated, keep the chi, the palm, the internal expansion, and then when you're breathing again, it's as if adding more to it. So make sure your feet are parallel. By the way, for all of these, you can make any qigong, any stick form, any kung fu form, a tai chi form, by keeping the tai chi ideas. So when we do this, if you keep your neck straight and you relax your shoulders and you have the insides of the hips folding in a certain way, gripping the feet, expand the ankles, have power going through them. And so we're keeping this qigong, the external movement, very simple, almost just like two postures, A and B. We have A and B, and we're just changing between the two of those. So you can focus on the internal work, which at this point is like we're pulling the energy from the ground internally up through the body, lifting the bottom, and then keeping the energy to reset and add even more. So like inflating a balloon, when you keep working, go your own pace. You can go faster, slower, you can practice. And because the movement's simple, you can focus on the inside. Make sure your alignment, the feet, knees, and hips, shoulders, and elbows are in line, as if they're all lined up on the grid, on the track. I'm standing sideways so you can see everything. My feet are parallel, my knees not going out to the side, not folding in, not uneven. Keep everything accurate and perfect. There are very few things that we have control over. The only two things that you have control over are your breathing and your posture. So in this particular case, that's all that we're doing is breathing and posture. The Tai Chi, the Qigong. Do 3 more like this, with the idea of not letting the energy escape on the exhale. So we're inflating. Keep all the energy on the inside. And then reset. Lifting the bottom, gripping the feet, still expanding, inflating more. Locking the bottom, keep all the energy on the inside, resetting, breathing, expanding even more. And then when you're done, bring your feet back together. Allow your hands to touch the sides. Take a deep breath, relax. Let's do a little bit of a warm-up. So if you have short stick, long stick, just do a little bit of massage on the scalp. So we're going from the top to the bottom the same way we do when we do a Tai Chi warm-up. So as if you're combing your hair, like you have a giant comic gag comb, and you want to pull it like across from the front to the back, from the front of the hairline all the way to the back of the hairline. Do the sides. And then take some time while you're back there where it feels good and it feels like work some of those spots. I'm not really focusing on the center line too much. When you work on your head top, a lot of times it's in hemisphere, left side, right side, front, back. There's a couple of teachers that suggest if you're doing massage on the scalp, don't do both sides at the same time. Somebody may say balance it, unbalance it. But because the brain is so complex, just do one side at a time. And then work the other side a little bit. By the way, you can work this all the way down to the neck. There's a line right underneath your ear here. You can feel it. There's a couple different ways you can hold the stick. Try not to touch the vertebrae, the bumpy parts of the spine. And the same thing with the skull. We did an exercise, I think it was Sunday night, where we do this very light tapping, right, on the head top. We're not doing that all the time. It's sort of a reserved practice. So for here, same thing, work the neck. So like you're pulling, you can feel all that tension. Like you can use the stick as a tool. Everyone here eats, so everyone here cooks. Like you're, like with a meat tenderizer, like you're mashing the potatoes, whatever you like to imagine. Same thing with the other side. Pressing down. Don't touch the spine. Don't touch the vertebrae. And then when you get your stick level here, do the tops of your shoulder blades. So if your stick is straight or the BIAN. By the way, the Zen masters keep a very crooked stick. Guo, the guy that teaches this one, is he says the more uneven the stick, right? A lot of times, like this is fairly even. It's just a little bit wider at this end than at this end, but that gives us a direction. But he says the more uneven, the better. So, like if we're talking about fighting and we use a club, it's a smaller at one end so we can hold it, and wider at the other end. And this form works with a club the same way. All right, sorry, where were we? We were doing this. So if it's uneven, or whether it's level or straight, you may have to do one side at a time if it's not completely straight. So try to relax this front part through the anterior shoulders in the front of the chest, so that you can sink your shoulders. Do a little bit of massage, break up that tissue. And then let's actually use the same thing. We'll just do a little bit of turning. So grip your feet and try to keep your face forward, your shoulders and elbows turning all the way under the chin. Remember to breathe free up your legs if you need to turn your knee, right? You see this? If these pants, which are, they're some type of cotton or cotton blend, right? If they're turning, if the pant is turning, the skin, the tendon and bone underneath is also turning. So don't let that happen to your knee. Become very sensitive to the way things function, and then you won't have an injury later. If you can lock your hips so that you turn the spine, that's what we're looking for. In fact, if you can relax your spine and use your abs for this one, so pulling your abdominal muscles in and letting your lower back relax like you're sitting, the tailbone. So like you're sitting this part down back here, and you're using this part here, strengthening this while you turn. In fact, you can actually sit back a little bit. Feel the burn in your stomach, in your abs. Breathe deep. Relax your tailbone. Push up through the back of the neck. What's next? Oh yeah, you know what we can do with some of these is, so one of the best ways, we did an exercise, actually if you set your stick somewhere, we did an exercise, this one, for opening up this upper part of the front and back of the body. We can do another one. If you'd like to practice a couple of these, this is always a good one to do. Imagine rocking a post inside sand, dirt, or soil. That's your spine. So be pushing up through your spine the whole time, and try to leave your shoulders and your chest and your back as relaxed as possible. And there's a certain point of recoil, the springiness. Allow that to very naturally and very gently pull these tendons and muscles open. This is an exercise you can do every day, by the way, until you feel all of this upper body open. We can do another one, by the way. So opening, for those of you that have ever gone to the gym and you work out and you do a bench press, right? They have a weight and you're pushing this way. It strengthens pectoralis. And one of the things that they say if you basically turn this way. Well, that's what we're doing with this one, right? So you can use that to open this way. Another way, if you like to stretch pectoralis and the shoulders, the deltoids, is reaching up high. So if there's a door frame, right, you can stand in the door frame and lean into it. Since I don't have a door frame handy, but we are using a stick, we can practice something very similar. Is stepping into it and then reaching your hands back. And so when you do this, I want you to remember your breathing, keep the tongue connected to the upper palate, and then feel as if your body is making a half arc. If you watch, I'm gripping my front foot, my rear foot, the heel is up. And when you stretch, you should feel it from your hand all the way down the sides. You see I have the stripes on the side of the leg. So feel from your pinkies all the way down to your pinky toes on the outside of the body, and then relax. Try some on the other side. Same thing. And then the same way that we use that rocking motion to get this recoil spring, we're going to do the same thing. So after you get a good stretch or two with this one, we're going to add a motion to it as well. We're going to add some movement. So feel the stretch. Try to turn your body into a half circle, quarter circle. And then for the next one on the other side, when you grip the ground, we're going to pull the hands back so that we get this stretching. And the same way that when we're doing this one, try to let your hands get into a state of free fall. So, or free floating, free movement. So when you're shifting, like your center, your dantian is being pulled forward and the arms being pulled back. And then relax. See how you feel through here. By the way, this is if you experience any type of pain, it's one of the body's ways of saying stop. We've had with the stick class, a few people have had problems doing things. So the same thing with this. by gripping this, when you push this, if it feels like it's a lot, don't do it. Another one too is this one. We do this, and we try to get the hands connected in the back this way. Don't push it too much because you may hurt something. In fact, let's actually do one of those with the idea in mind of safety first. So take the stick, reach behind, and if your hands can't reach, can you see? Then take your fingers and like you're pulling them together until you can either get them to touch or overlap. For those of you that study yoga, this is the upper body portion of Gomukhasana, and they would use in a yoga class, they would use a strap, but here we're practicing Kung Fu, so we have a stick. And so breathe, try to let your shoulders relax, try to let all of the tendons in your arms and the muscles in your arms relax. You'll feel there's actually more room in the stretch if you can get it to relax. And then when you're ready, change, whether you go over the top this way or whether you come out from underneath this way. Either way, there's power. Change to the other side. And then the same thing. You just start out with your hands further apart, and then you walk them closer. And remember the same thing, Rome wasn't built in a day, so if one side will be easier than the other. One side you can reach a little bit further. And then while you're in the stretch, take a deep breath, relax, and then see if you can feel like your arms are made of cables, and you can let each one of those cables relax. So internally, relax your shoulders, your biceps, your forearms, and see if you can feel more space inside the stretch, more distance. The arms and fingertips haven't moved. And then walk your fingers just a little bit more. Take a deep breath, and then when you're ready, whether you come over the top, there's power, or whether you go underneath, there's power. We did those exercises the other day. We did some turning. Let's do a little bit of folding. So practice holding things in a unique way. Let's do this. Take your stick, whether you have long stick or short stick, and put it in your elbow and hold it. And then change, grab it, switch hands, put it inside your other elbow and hold it there. You have an extra set of hands. This is, in martial arts, trapping something inside your elbow, trapping someone else's grip inside your elbow happens a lot of times in arts that deal with grappling. But this is also very valuable when you're carrying a bunch of stuff up from the car. You can put something inside your elbow and still have your hand and your arm mostly free to do a lot of different things. So in addition, when we study Tai Chi, we should become ambidextrous, right? Be able to use both sides equally. But then we should also be able to do things that are unique. So practice changing from one side to the other. And then let's do this. Use the hips to hold on to the stick. So push your tailbone back, away, up, relax, and then let your head top and neck. We're warming up, so this is a good opportunity to relax. Do some breathing before we do the Kung Fu form. Grip your feet. And then when you're ready, activate your feet and then unroll, catch the stick. If you drop it, expand all the way up, breathing. And then come back to the center. We're going to do that one more time. So holding the stick in the center, release your arms, your spine, your head, your neck, your back. Grip the ground. Breathe deep. And then pull your tailbone closer to the ceiling like it's going directly up on the y-axis. Relax your shoulders, your hands, your fingertips. See if you can feel the energy moving in your back. When you're ready, grip the ground, breathing deep to inflate, catch the stick, Reach all the way up, expand, and relax. What's next? Let's do a different one. We did this one with tapping around the leg. By the way, that's one I recommend, especially if you like to work out. For people you like to go running or hiking, this one is for me. I don't know how it works with anyone else. Maybe I have special tendons or something. But if you can hit around this horseshoe shape here that goes with this band of tendons around the front here, you can reset your legs. Go run for some time, and then you can even use your hand, right, doing the same thing. Take small stick with you, right, something like this, even something like this, good enough. Right, you can generate a lot of power because you don't have to worry about damaging your knuckles, damaging your own equipment. And then you can go run some more. For people practicing Kung Fu, other martial arts, same thing. After you train, take the stick. Let's do something different. Similar idea. This one, I don't know if I have a correct kind of chair. This is like an office chair, so we'll see how this works. But as if you're using the stick to squash your muscles down the length of the leg. So like you're pressing in and then pressing down. So, and then the same thing, working all along this top half of the leg. So from the inside, pressing down to the knee. You can pick a number of lines, but imagine it's like you're squeezing, if you've ever had to use paints, roll of paint, or a tube of toothpaste, something like this. And as much pressure as you can comfortably apply, you won't bruise yourself. And the same thing all the way to the side, to this side channel, and then the same thing on the inside. I'll do the other side facing this direction so you can see. So pressing this way, down here. And the same thing, use power. It should feel good, right? Yeah, you feel something, you feel like, yeah, okay, good. So, you have the basic idea. So instead of hitting, we can do this type of pressure. This is, you can do this in other parts of your body. This is probably the best place for this one. But you can also do this with other people as well, on the arm, different parts of the shoulder, back, neck, etc. You see how much power you can generate, right? So your leg has a lot of muscle here, right? There's a lot of tissue. And so if you can, especially with the muscle is denser, heavier than the fat. And so if you can really get through that, then you can make a lot of power to do massage with the stick. Did we get both sides? I think we got both sides of the leg, yeah. And then the same thing, we'll do the, question.
If anybody has access to one of these sticks, I think this seems like it's even better than the BIAN gun.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Right, it has the bend in it. So, and it has ridge too. By the way, this is when we were talking a minute ago about the BIAN gun, you can see some of them very bumpy. This one may have been sanded. I don't know if we can get it to focus, if it will focus in. But if some of them, the bumpier the better, right? Not only does this create a type of opportunity for impact, you can see it along the edges here, but also when we use it to rake, right, for raking the opponent's skin, but also for massage. The same reason is the same reason that this one, there's an arc in it, and then there's also these ridges, these grooves, give it something to hold on to. But the smooth, you can use the smooth if you have a smooth stick, right? My other BIAN gun is very, very smooth, which is it's in my gear bag. Okay, so whatever. Let's continue working out. Yeah, if you have the ridge, the one with the grooves, great. This, by the way, also this kind of rubbing, this one we can do you have to take a slightly, make the leg slightly wider. And then the same thing, this time pulling up. So instead of pushing down and pushing down this way, here, once it's behind, I'm pulling up and then pressing that down this way. So I want to keep pressure continuously on my leg, but I'm running it down the leg. And so the same thing, just pick 3 lines, one on the outside corner. Remember to breathe deep. One on the inside corner. You may have to take a shorter grip to reach on the inside center line, and then one on the inside corner. So, as if there's 3 lines, one right in the middle, one on the outside, and one on the inside. Again, as much power as you can use, and like you're pressing all of that tissue and material, like you want to get the last bit of paint or toothpaste from the tube, pressing something out, and then change on the other side. Grip the ground with your feet. Remember to breathe and run a couple of lines down the back. And take a deep breath. One more thing, we'll do the inside of the foot. Even if you're just getting the arch, right, this inner part right here, the inside of the foot. But there's other places, so take some time. If you have the larger stick, you can use one end as a pivot and take the other end and hit there. Don't hit your shin. Practice and balance. Breathe deep. Try the other side. By the way, did we talk about plants? Did we talk about stimulating plants if you have a plant? For those of you that are into gardening or taking care of plants, you can use the same technique that we're just doing right there. I have a plant over here we can look at. For something about this size, right? If we just do this kind of tapping, you can see a little vibration in the plants. This plant's very healthy, so it doesn't need any of that type of thing. But if you have a plant that's suffering, you can pick something to tap it with. If it's a very small plant, you can use a chopstick, right? Don't want to hit a small stick with this. If it's a tree, you may use something like BIAN size. If it's a small tree, something even larger than that one. The idea is, by tapping, we can create a situation where if we don't do any bruising, or we get to the point just before we get to bruising, then it draws energy to that area, right? Some schools, some martial arts schools subscribe to very intense bruising to create some type of influx of chi. So in our case, we're looking to sort of do the Tai Chi approach to that, the Tai Chi being the softer way, right? The idea of getting Chi there very slowly. So what the value of tapping the feet, right? By tapping, especially if you can use some power, doesn't do the bruising, but will cause the Chi to go to that area. So we can use a cheat, right? When we do the Tai Chi exercises and we say make the energy go to the head top, to the fingertips, to the toes. Well, instead of putting our mind down there and controlling the energy to go down there, we can use another technique, such as hitting, stimulating that area and causing the chi to go there without really having to do the work. So we can use the stick for that type of thing. This also, if the stick can be used for something else, we're going to do the form in just a second. For bodybuilding, I don't know who will watch the YouTube videos later, but you can, if you see what happens when you take the muscle and you hit it, what will happen is it stays flexed for just a second, and then it will release. This is a form of bodybuilding. So when I was younger, I would use a hitter. I would use metal hitter, wooden hitter, and you can use this to actually increase the power and the dynamics of the muscles. Let's do the form. Before we do, questions, thoughts, comments, ideas on something we've been working on. Let's do the first section up to the turn, and then we've got to figure out how to deal with the turn so we're not facing 180. So starting as regular from the salute, breathe deep. We have a block, cast, flip it into your elbow, and then turn the palms and smash. Slide the hand, the other hand comes up behind to cut. Spinning block, still facing the opponent. Turn the hand over, this is drilling up and out. High hit, parallel the feet. Hit, tip it up, and then tip forward, and then tip, turn, hit. So if I'm facing north again, after the hit to the ankle, voila, flip into the elbow. This is just like the beginning of the first section, except now we're going to reach with the left hand and scoop. So let's repeat basically from the drill and the high hit all the way through the elbow and the U shape into the second section. We're just going to repeat those, 10 times, something. So we get the feeling for what's happening with the hand tricks, and then we'll come back and review. I think we have time. I think we have that kind of time to do that thing. So let's do the whole thing again up to the U shape in the second section, and then we'll come back and just go from the high hit. So we're just looking at the end of it. So from the salute, we're ready. Block, cast, recoil, flip, smash, cut, block. Remember to breathe, drill, make your feet parallel. Flip down, tip up, over the top, step 2, 3, smash the elbow or the ankle smash, right? And then from here, waba, flip into the elbow, reach to the other end, and then this side scoops, turn 90 degrees, we're facing west. Let's just do the questions, thoughts, comments. Let's go from the high hit from here, right? So if I'm facing east, my opponent is that way. I'm hitting here, but my structure, my square is facing to the east. And then from here, still facing north, tip up. Let's see if you can see. I'll go this direction. Here. Hit, tip up, top, turn, 2, 3, smash, elbow, scoop. All right, let's go through that slowly. Let's actually go through everything from the high hit. So if I'm facing north, I'm going to travel to the west. So from the high hit, I turn, hit downwards to the west, tip it up, over the top, and then step, 2, 3, now I'm facing east, smash, my square is aligned to the side. Wah-bah, just like the first section. Elbow fold, just like the first section. And now I'm going to reach across. I'm going to turn the stick. And when I step forward, I'm going to turn 90 degrees. By the way, this is confusing one to some of these terms for this form they're very unique and they're difficult to learn in person as well as over a video camera. So let's repeat again. If I'm going, we can just say this is north-south, doesn't really matter. From the high hit, ankle hit, tip up, tip forward, and then I want to use this like a row, like a fan block. 2, hit. Now I'm facing 180, and from here I'm going to wah-bah, and then fold this into my elbow, and then hand and foot move together, and then hand and foot move together, and we have this. By the way, the end posture for this one, for the scoop up, is we have a horse stance, right? And if you take the stick, right, and you're holding it just like a walking stick, right, like you're going to go for a hike, and you have the thing. By the way, this is one of the things that's so great about the BIAN, for if you cut one that's to the right size, is it does make a great walking stick. It looks very natural, and it's also a great weapon. So if you take the stick, and then you just, like you're tucking it under your armpit, and then you have this, like you're holding it palm up here, and you have these 2 fingers supporting the stick this way, right? And if you take your elbow, it's not connected to my side. You can see there's a gap, but I want you to lock your arm from your elbow to your dantian, right? So that point is always connected. And I'm moving my center. My arm isn't moving at all. It's locked because my elbow is constrained and my armpit is constraining this thing, and this finger is here. So this is the idea, this is the feeling, is if you want to hit something with that, it's very powerful, but also you can move something with this, right? So if I have an object, maybe it's a person, I can take this and use this like a turnstile, right? It's very, very powerful. So if you have opportunity to go to a place where there's a punching bag and you can press, or even if you go to the nearby park and there's a small tree in the yard, right? Something with not a lot of diameter. See if you can push the tree by using this, not this. This is weak. This is very strong, right? The size of your waist. This is the goal for Tai Chi. So that's what's happening, is this scoop. And you see I finish with my feet 90 degrees and my stick pointing 90 degrees that way. It's slightly elevated here because it goes under and comes up. It runs along this proportion of my gait. My feet in the camera look a little bit skewed because it's a wide angle, but they're parallel, right? Should be parallel. And this should be parallel to my feet with a slight up angle. Let's go I'll face a different direction this time here, from the high hit. So I'm going to ankle hit, tip up, top, fan 2, 3, wah-bah, elbow fold, reach, scoop up, turn 90 degrees. Let's do this. If you guys follow the camera, I'm going to face north this way. So from here, once I've done the ankle, the turn, this is assuming we're into the second section. By the way, you should know the twist is the transition from first to second. From the ankle smash, we're going to wah-bah. We're going to step forward and hit up into this corner. So everyone remembers this one, right? If you just hold your stick in the center here, and it's vertical. And then you take your other hand and you just fold it into your elbow. So it's here, it's just hanging out. And then you just do this. And so this feeling is here. Look, even without giving it any power, it's got a ton of power, right? Especially if I let it get into free floating mode. So that's what we're looking for, is this free floating. So that end is just going on its own, right? Yeah, that looks good, Mark. It looks good. So this is the same movement from the first section, except now we're going to come out of it a different way. So a lot of these hand tricks, they have one way to get into it and another way to get out of it. So after we've done the smash, we're going to step forward and slide this hand. And remember, how you slide it, you can wah-wah with both hands at the same time, right? Even though my hands aren't moving, the stick can slide within them. Or I can slide one and scoop the other, right? We can make a lot of different types of adjustments. But what you should start to realize, what you should start to have as your body memory is, if you want to hit from a very far distance, my bag is way over here and I'm here, right? Then I have to let that stick slide quite a bit so that I can reach. I'm still folding into my elbow, my armpit here, and make a lot of power way out there. Or if I'm close to the opponent and I'm here, I can get to here and only use that much, as opposed to sliding to here and using that much. And it's how much stick you have left at the end of the stick, right? So after I do the hit, if I'm boxing with somebody narrow, I can just turn from here. I don't even have to wah-wah. Maybe here, right? I only get this much range. But if I get to here and I want to hit my camera, I can wah-wah quite a bit and get all the way over there. Let's continue another time from the smash. Wah-wah, fold into the elbow, and then step your left foot forward, reach your left hand forward. And now, take your right hand and your right foot, and they're both going to make a half circle, scoop. I'll fall backwards. Right? And that scoop, by the way, for those of you that study martial arts, is imagine you have the stick there, getting hit with that on an uppercut, anywhere coming up the body, up to the ribs, to the sternum, to the neck, to the jaw, to the throat, the eyes. That hit to the face is concentrated into that point. Let's go again. Smash, wah-wah, flip, step and change hands, and then scoop the hand, scoop the foot this way. Good. Let's go from the beginning all the way to the second section. So if we start from the salute, take a deep breath. We have the ready. And by the way, let's hang out here for 1 second. If you see me and from my block, I'm almost going to one knee on the side here, you don't have to do that. This is I'm doing this because I just got done working, and so I'm sitting for a long time, and so I need to move. So I'm changing quite a bit. We did a little bit of a warm-up. You don't have to practice. You guys are just learning, many of you just learning the sequence. So if you want to challenge yourself, you can practice the high and low stance and change big direction if you like to make a big leap to get to the other posture kind of thing. So, where were we? Ready stance. Let's go back to the beginning. You don't have to make it exaggerated, just learn the order. So, from here, ready, block, cast, wah-wah, elbow, smash, hit, spinning block, spiraling drill up to the side. Make your feet parallel, hitting to the other side of the gate. Block down. Tip up. Over the top. Step. 2, 3. Hit. Wah-wah. Flip up. Step and reach. reach and step. Questions, thoughts, ideas? All right, let's do. Everyone feel like you have a grip on the U shape? So. Okay, we'll come back. We'll do more of it because we can move forward and come back. This is especially if you have videos. If you have some videos to follow, you have something to work with. By the way, if you've seen the one with Guo, he does this whole form. He teaches the whole thing in a minute and a half, right? If you've seen other videos of him on YouTube, will do this same form. Like this is a very small section of a large form, and it takes, I think, a few minutes. So this whole form can be done in 30 seconds, a minute, something like that. Very short amount of time. So, but very cool, very useful. Let's go on to the next movement. After the scoop, we're going to do another smash. And so, from this 90 degree posture here, we're going to again reach to the other end of the stick and turn over to hit. Just the same way, there's one of these, a smash in the first section. After we have ankle hit up, turn, smash, pop up, step back. So the smash in the Mandarin is za, Z-A, the same way that people use the slang term for pizza. You want some za, man, right? So pizza, za, is the same word smash. It literally means smash. So let's look at how it happens. By the way, if you're playing along at home and you have the BIAN, has two different sizes, right? I'm in the beginner class. I don't really want to talk about which end is which. In more advanced, we're going to start by holding the thicker end and using the thinner end as the top, and that will start to become apparent in some movements. For the smash, for instance, uses the wider end, and then some of the pokes use the thinner end, because for a poke we want to have the concentrated power, and for the smash we want to have the fatter end. All right, so where were we? All right, for the U shape, if you are using a BIAN with two different size ends, the U shape should have the fat end up. So you should be holding the holding end, right? This end up. How do we know? Because we know the ankle smash uses the fat end there, and then when we wob off, we tip up with this. And then when we reach, we scoop, and we have the fat end here, which now means when we change, we're going to smash with the smaller end. This is all, the small end, thick end is all academic for those of you using sticks with a parallel side. How does this look with the short stick, by the way? Let's look. From the ankle smash, the elbow flip is the same. And then the change here is more narrow, right? So we're just holding this thing. By the way, you can be holding this stick under here like this. So when you do that, after you do the hit, flip, right? You can be turning this stick in your hands this way. And then the next one, we pull this hand out from underneath and we reach across. And then we put the other hand, so they're thumb to thumb. Why? Because the smash ends thumb to thumb. So let's do this. If you just hold the stick like this, doesn't matter which direction it faces. But if whatever direction it's facing for the elbow, because we're going to do both directions later, is like you have a circle that goes here from your hand, and it goes up and around here. And we're going to take that circle using our center, and we're going to turn it to the front. So whatever end is back, like you want to lead with that end. So in this particular case, I have it from my right side, and I'm bringing it across to the front here. I can switch and bring it across to here, and switch and bring it across. So my thumbs are facing each other. So this is a weird kind of strike. If I'm hitting the bag, when I turn that circle, it's here, right? This is for people into a knife fighting or saber, if you like, this kind of blade here, right? There's this activity of holding it against the forearm so that you can swipe across this way. This is kind of similar, except instead of bracing it here, we're using this like a flange on the end of the circle to do the smashing. So after I'll use the bigger stick so it's more clear. So after the fold into this U shape, the scoop, I'm going to take this hand that's supporting underneath here and connecting all of this and reach forward. From my horse stance, I'm going to reach forward, and then my other hand is going to turn. And I can use this wah-wah to get this smash. So let's practice a few times, because the feeling is that this rear hand, remember, yin-yang grip, this is a BIAN principle. This hand is holding this other hand. If you put it just like we did a second ago, this is easier if you have the longer stick, is if we wah-wah the slide, and then this hand is going to throw the stick, but never let it go, and then catch it here. This, by the way, remember when we do the posture, we want it to be perfect Chinese martial arts. The back is straight, this should be straight, that should be straight, everything should be straight. This, you notice my stick is parallel and level to the ground. I have no tail at the end of the stick. Go ahead, yeah, question.
Right, you said the backhand is turning, but it doesn't actually flip the way it's gripping the stick, right? It's more like the arm is turning, because you're hanging onto the stick the same direction, yes?
So let's look from here, right? If I have this scoop, when I reach forward, this hand is going to go here, and then I'm going to, like a shot put, reaching up over this way. Because remember, my goal is to actually take my circle, this taiji circle here, and turn it this way. I just happen to have a stick at the end of that circle now, right? That's how you end up with your thumbs together as such. So you get to this point. And what that does is...
The point is, in this case, it's more of a rotation over as opposed to an actual flip, right?
You could, okay, so if we did this, you don't have to do the wah-wah even, right? If I go from my parallel horse stance here, and I reach, I can actually just pull my hand in, and these hands are already thumbed together. But this is where it becomes more advanced. This is learning to sort of freestyle or play with the stick freely, where once this is scooped here, I can start to actually pull this in this direction. And so it's already moving. And now this hand, even though it's moving away, it's going to scoop up and over. And so we can start to multiply power within power, right? So as I scoop, I can be stepping and reaching this way. Power's going out. This hand going back, but multiplying the power up and over. So this is throwing. And then once this is throwing, this hand is going to recoil, and then this one's going to pull down and grip. So we can get this kind of really big power by combining all of these little details, right? So does that answer your question? We can do it without, we don't need to do the wah-wah. It's more advanced. And it's just like if we go back to the basic, this one, right? Doesn't matter which stick you're using. If we just go back to practicing, you'll feel the weight of it, the subtle way that you can actually sort of spin it along its axis, right? You can feel like, what if I throw it a little bit more? Or what if I pull it this way a little bit more, right? What if I let it fly between the hands where I'm not holding it for a second, right? Don't drop the stick. And then find some combinations thereof. And then we want to do horizontal as well. So just like we're swinging this way. This one's more dangerous if you have television, I can see everyone has glass computer screen, something. So please be very careful with this one. That's why I'm not teaching. This one's easier. It's easier to control. So this kind of floating is the same thing. If I'm a new person with the stick, after I make my scoop, I can reach, step, smash. I haven't moved either of my hands, right? From the scoop, from facing that direction. And by the way, this one, remember, this is a zigzag step. There's no actual form. I'm going to show you how Master Yun did it, Master Guo did it, how I do it, and then you can formulate your own because they're all correct. So if I'm facing 90 degrees, I'm going to go to the 45 to the corner. And so when I step here, I'm just putting my thumb facing in. My other thumb is already facing in. I'm just going to turn my hand over, and then when I turn, I can smash. Right, this way. So, smash. This kind of hit. Or, once I get to here, if my bag is there, right, I'm facing 90 degrees. Let's say I make my bag to my 45, is when I step, I can start to pull this. I can reach back up over with this hand and extend that like I want to throw. You're going to throw your chi through the stick to hit into that spot, right? Try not to cross your legs with that because you can get pushed over very easy. Questions, thoughts, comments, ideas about what we're doing? Charlotte, that looks good. Now, it looks like you have the joy of throwing the stick, right? You said sometimes it's just the feeling of, wailing this baton, turning this thing around. Now add the taiji. Make your neck straight. Relax your shoulders. Keep your alignment so when you turn, it's very accurate and that we can see. And then the power becomes even more. It feels like if we get all really bent out of shape, it feels like a dynamic. This is when you go to a superhero movie, right? And the character doing these huge punches, big choreographed fighting something. But in this form, the relaxation, being able to get it to the power to come out without having to do a big movement. And then, when we do add a big movement, we can really add power. All right, so let's see, where were we? We went from the ankle smash. I'll face this direction. And then, elbow, scoop, smash. Remember, the smash, when we're doing this whether it's for practice or competition, we should always do the best we can. Lined up to the grid, right here. And the next one we're going to do, I think, on the next time, because it's actually 8 o'clock. And the next one is one of my all-time favorites. It looks like this. We have a hit up and a poke back, and then on the other side, a hit up and a poke back. They can be connected with a number of different angles. And it's very effective. You have an opponent, right? This kind of hit up is like this, so it pops up through the center. And then we're also attacking the center here. So they're going to try to block horizontally, and we're going to attack vertically. Up, back. It's a good one. All right, let's do the thing. Set your stick down for just a second. And then the same way that we started, make your feet parallel. And just keeping a very, very, very simple movement, A-B movement. Breathing deep. And I want your exhales to be longer or shorter than your inhales. So to cool down, taking lots of chi. And then get rid of the hot air quickly. And then inflate slowly. Feel the temperature change on the surface of your nostrils. Feel the temperature of your sinuses. Feel the temperature of your throat, your lungs. Filling up with cool chi quickly and releasing all of the hot chi even more quickly. Slowly filling up with cool outer chi. And then when you feel good with that, bring your feet together in the center. Let your hands touch the side. Bring your mind into the center line of your body. And then do some balanced breathing. Not longer or shorter on the inhales, but make everything balanced. Feel left and right, front and back, top and bottom. Inhale, exhale. Move your mind into the center. The more centered it is, the more your body will automatically adjust on its own. Keep doing the same deep breathing. When you're ready, that's it. It's past the time, so call, email, text if you have questions. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks.
Much appreciated. Right.
See ya.